Good evening, I'm Tips Mahoy, and this is ArthIntel Evening Edition. Coming up, U.S. Admiral praises USS Lincoln crew amid reported mental health concerns. U.S. envoy Kushner meets Hamas leader in push for a Gaza roadmap before heading to see Netanyahu. Virginia State University mass shooting suspect found cowering in campus closet over 14 hours after mayhem. That plus a check of the weather across the country. We begin tonight with the top stories from around the world. U.S. Central Command's Admiral Brad Cooper visited the USS Abraham Lincoln after reports of mental health and supply issues aboard the carrier, calling its roughly 5,000-member crew awe-inspiring. In a statement on X, Cooper said the Lincoln currently has among the lowest number of mental health cases of the Navy's 11 active carriers, while acknowledging that service at sea for long periods isn't for everyone. The visit follows reports that the crew has spent more than 250 days at sea without a port call, with lawmakers in Congress raising concerns and several crew members reportedly attempting to jump overboard. The Navy is redeploying the USS George Washington from near Japan to replace the Lincoln, and when asked Friday if the ship had been deployed too long, President Trump said, "No, not nearly long enough." U.S. negotiator Jared Kushner held a rare meeting in Egypt Sunday with Hamas leader Khalil al-Hayya, part of a fresh push to save a stalled 15-point Gaza ceasefire roadmap. Kushner is set to meet Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Monday, after Netanyahu last week publicly rejected the U.S.-backed plan. According to a Hamas official, the group says it's committed to the deal but is demanding Israel halt its attacks and pull back before implementation begins. Ahead of the Netanyahu meeting, Saudi Arabia, the UAE and several other nations issued a statement saying Israel now bears responsibility for obstructing the efforts to bring peace in Gaza. Police say a 19-year-old man wanted in Saturday's mass shooting at Virginia State University was finally captured hiding in a dorm closet more than 14 hours after the attack. Chesterfield County Police found Cameron Harris inside Seward Hall around 4 p.m. after he allegedly opened fire near campus during move-in weekend, wounding 5 people ages 17 to 23. Harris, who is not a VSU student and lives about 30 miles away in Henrico, is now held without bail on 4 counts of malicious wounding and 4 counts of using a firearm in a felony. Police have not released a possible motive for the shooting. Now to the political stories making news this evening. Your website should make you money, most don't. Toolbox Development builds sites that actually rank on Google and turn visitors into calls. No contracts. Find them at toolboxdevelopment.net. President Trump says the U.S. will substantially reduce joint military exercises with South Korea, pointing to his relationship with North Korea's Kim Jong-un, and noting that Seoul recently declined to join the U.S. in efforts to denuclearize Iran. But South Korea says its drills with the U.S., the Ultra-Freedom Shield exercise involving about 18,000 South Korean troops, will proceed as scheduled. North Korea has not yet responded, though it condemned the drills last week as, in its words, a rehearsal for an aggressive war. About 28,500 American troops are currently stationed in South Korea. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says he does not support the platform of the Democratic Socialists of America, telling NBC's Meet the Press he opposes defunding the police, open borders, and abolishing the Senate. But asked if there's room for Democratic Socialists in the party, Jeffries said any DSA-aligned candidates elected in November would become part of what he called a broad House Democratic caucus. The comments come as openly socialist candidates have gained traction in recent Democratic primaries, including DSA member Abdul El-Sayed, the party's Senate nominee in Michigan. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear is calling for the direct election of the president and vice president, effectively ending the Electoral College. Beshear made the remarks Sunday on CBS's Face the Nation, saying candidates rarely campaign in states like Kentucky because the outcome is seen as a foregone conclusion. He framed the idea as part of a broader constitutional amendment that would also ban partisan redistricting, impose term limits on Congress and the Supreme Court, and overturn the Citizens United ruling. Beshear, seen as a potential 2028 Democratic contender, was previously considered by Kamala Harris as a running mate before she chose Tim Walz. President Trump has stopped short of endorsing Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ahead of Israel's October 27th election, according to a report from World Israel News citing Axios. Two people familiar with the comments told Axios that Trump privately called Netanyahu his own worst enemy when associates raised the subject with him. That marks a shift from June, when Trump told Israel's Can broadcaster he liked Netanyahu very much and would most likely endorse him. Axios reports the cooling relationship follows growing friction between Washington and Jerusalem over strategy in Gaza, Lebanon, and Iran, including Netanyahu's public rejection on August 9th of Trump's 15-point Gaza framework. Now to the money, finance, and crypto. This spot is available. ArthIntel reaches a daily news audience on the Evening Edition and across ArthIntel.com. To advertise with us, visit ArthIntel.com. Crypto trading is showing a notable shift, according to Wintermute's Beshear, as attention moves from infrastructure tokens toward applications and options that fit more familiar investment frameworks. Beshear says fundamentals are gaining weight in areas like decentralized finance and infrastructure networks, though he cautions that flows still set day-to-day prices. Wintermute's data shows institutional counterparties made up roughly 72% of its spot over-the-counter flow in the first half of 2026, up from about 59% a year earlier, with money concentrating in major cryptocurrencies, revenue-generating tokens, and a new category, tokenized real-world assets. Crypto hardware wallet provider SafePal has disclosed a data breach exposing the personal information of nearly 40,000 customers, including names, physical addresses, and contact details. The company says no cryptocurrency funds, passwords, or private wallet keys were compromised, but the exposed data could put users at risk of phishing and impersonation attempts. SafePal says it identified an authorization flaw in a plugin used to track customer orders, which likely allowed attackers to view other customers' order details. This follows a recent hack of cold card hardware wallets, in which an attacker reportedly stole at least $120 million in Bitcoin. European regulators are warning that criminals are exploiting the EU's new crypto rules to scam investors. The European Securities and Markets Authority says fraudsters have been impersonating its name, logo, and even falsifying documents to convince users their funds are at risk. The Netherlands' AFM and Austria's Financial Market Authority say the shift to licensed exchanges under MiCA is itself creating an opening for scammers, and are urging investors to verify any provider through official registers before transferring funds. The UK's FCA told CoinDesk it logged 4,465 reports of fake FCA impersonations in the first half of 2025, with 480 victims tricked into handing over money. And now, today's top stories from the world of sports. The speculation continues in Los Angeles. Is Aaron Donald coming out of retirement? The three-time Defensive Player of the Year worked out with the Rams on Sunday for the second time this month, as he weighs a return since the team traded for edge rusher Myles Garrett back in June. Coach Sean McVay says he's hopeful a decision comes soon, but declined to set a timeline, saying he doesn't want to put unnecessary pressure on Donald. Donald retired after the 2023 season, and at 35, still needs to prove he can handle the physical grind of an NFL season. Tommy John, the longtime Major League pitcher whose name became synonymous with a career-saving elbow surgery, has died at the age of 83. His agent confirmed the death to CBS News, and the New York Yankees paid tribute, calling him a bedrock of our rotation and an athletic and medical pioneer. In 1974, Dodgers doctor Frank Jobe performed an experimental procedure on John's damaged elbow, replacing a torn ligament with a tendon, an operation now known simply as Tommy John surgery, which has since saved the careers of countless pitchers. John went on to pitch until age 46, finishing his 26-year career with a 288-31 record and a 3.34 ERA, though he was never inducted into the Hall of Fame. His death comes just a week after he missed the Yankees' Old Timers' Day, where in a statement he thanked Dr. Jobe, who saved my arm, and the fans who supported him throughout his career. And finally, here's a look at temperatures across the country right now. It's hottest in Phoenix at 108 degrees, while New York is the coolest spot on the board this evening at 70. That's ArthIntel Evening Edition for now, 12 stories coast to coast. I'm Tips Mahoy for ArthIntel, Signal over Noise. That's the signal for today. Like, subscribe, and visit arthintel.com for complete coverage.